All right, guys, I want to talk about an objection funnel real quick. Pretty simple. So every time you get an objection, it starts here, right? Lots of different objections. You could run into the I need to think about it, need to pray about it, need a night to sleep on it, need to get other estimates, all these objections, right? Now those objections, they filter out into three different ways. One of them is design. That may be the type of material you're using, the layout, etc., but design is the problem. Sometimes the objection is I want to get another estimate, and it's because they want a different design. That's what they really mean. Sometimes I have to think about it, and that's because they're not in love with the design that you built up. Design. Now, another one over here is missing decision maker. So they can't make a decision because someone who's going to be part of the decision is not there. But even that ultimately typically funnels down to cost. If your call center is doing a good job and they know that they're supposed to have everyone there and they're saying they're the sole decision maker, then usually what this comes up to is they were not expecting it to cost that much. So a missing decision maker almost always means cost. Occasionally it could mean design if someone is going to be part of the design process and they didn't tell us truthfully when we set the appointment. But anyway, objections, design, missing decision maker, that gets put in the cost, and then cost, price, right? The price, it could be the down payment, the monthly payment, or the overall investment. But whatever it is, almost everything gets funneled down to here, either design or cost. Now, if you can isolate it to those, then you can start playing with financing. You can play with different terms. And ultimately, there's one other ingredient to handle these objections where you can even surpass design and bring it down to cost only. And then even cost, it's about how can we find a solution that you possibly could afford if you really tried. That is, without urgency, design, cost. Yes, you can isolate it down to those, funnel it down and try to solve for it. But at the end of the day, if they don't feel any sort of urgency, they could still not buy. So this has to be done during the presentation for these funnels here to be worked out. Now let's say they do say it's a design problem, right? All you can do there is try to redesign it until they are fully happy with it. So the more options you have, the better. Or if you do a really good job at expressing what it's going to look like to where they can see it and fall in love with it, bring the emotion into it, then you can overcome it that way. Or if the price is so good that the design doesn't matter anymore. That's why I mentioned urgency, because if they really need to get it done and the price is really important to them, we got a price that works for them, then maybe they'll be okay with the design being different. But price, this is always the big one. If they got no credit and they can't afford it, they don't have anything to put into it, they can't pay cash, this is the ultimate one that we should always be isolating it down to. And if we fail, it should be because they got financially declined and don't have a way to pay cash. Obviously, this funnel doesn't work for every single circumstance that's out there, but it should help in almost all of them. So keep that in mind, try it out, see if you can constantly funnel it down. If you're getting a lot of results that are other estimates, procrastinating, you need to think about it, any of those silly things out there, right? Almost always, that means you did not funnel it down all the way. And then if you do funnel it down all the way and you're still not getting sales, then usually it's because of urgency. Hopefully this helps for analyzing your performance. I'd love to know what you guys are doing to funnel things down. Leave it in the comments below or send me a direct message if you need some help. Talk soon.